ായി ഈ പൊതുസമ്മേളനം പിരിയുകയാണ്. മഗ്‌രിബ് നമസ്കാര ശേഷം 6:55 ഈ സമ്മേളനം പുനരാരംഭിക്കുന്നതാണ്. പുരുഷന്മാർ കരമന ജുമാ മസ്ജിദിലും സ്ത്രീകൾക്ക് തൈക്കാപ്പള്ളിയിലും പരിസരത്തുള്ള വീടുകളിലും പരിമിതമായ സൗകര്യം ഏർപ്പെടുത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അത് പരമാവധി
and other associated socio-political organizations. I feel very happy and honored to be here today to attend this historic program in Kerala, the capital of Kerala, Trivandrum. Since the time is very short and I have been given a time of 15 to 20 minutes, I will try to wind up as early as possible. But since today I've got this opportunity for the first time, I think very important that I should speak something meaningful and something useful which can benefit you in your political journey. I am from Uttar Pradesh, from Delhi. But in the last 10 years, I have been to all parts of Kerala state. I have personally visited all the assembly constituency, 140 constituencies of Kerala. So Kerala is not new to me. Of course, language is a problem. I can understand little bit. But otherwise, I know the politics of Kerala. I know the society of Kerala very deeply. Before me, Mr. Bashir, he was speaking about so many issues. Whatever little I could understand, I could sense that there is a lot of anger and frustration in the minds of people of Kerala, especially Muslim population, Muslim people. Because sitting here, what the central government is doing, what the state government, present state government, or the earlier state governments, what they have been doing. The Muslims of Kerala, the Dalits of Kerala, the Adivasis of Kerala, the backwards of Kerala, the Latin Christians of Kerala, Dalit Christians of Kerala, they are all suffering. This I can say through my own experience in the last 10 years. And this is not the story of Kerala only. I go to all parts of the country from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. This is more or less the same story everywhere. The condition of Muslim of Kerala is not much different from Muslim of Uttar Pradesh or Muslim of Bihar. The condition of Dalits of Kerala is not much different from the condition of Dalit of Uttar Pradesh or Gujarat or Madhya Pradesh or Bihar, so on and so forth. Everywhere in the country, wherever I go, the same story which I hear, the story is of suffering of people, and especially in the last 6 or 7 years, ever since this Modi government has come into power, these sufferings have increased many-fold. What Congress or the communists used to do it slowly and silently, the same thing A similar thing this BJP is doing openly, without any fear, because they think they have got majority in the parliament, and they are doing it. Their whole Brahminical agenda, as per Manusmriti, is being implemented. They have got power at the center, political power is in their hands, the whole bureaucracy is in their hands, police system is in their hands, judiciary is in their hands, media is in their hands, all the capitalists are in their hands. And our people, the Dalit people, the backward people, the minority people, on all these counts, they stand nowhere. They stand nowhere in comparison, because our enemy is 1,000 times more powerful than us. And this situation has not developed in one day. It has been developing for the last 10, 15, 20 years. So today, I'm not going to speak much about the problem, which you all know better than me. But I have come here to speak something about solution. Now, what is the solution to this problem? Speaking about problem is okay, but it doesn't lead you anywhere. We need solution. What is the solution? I think we have a solution if we are ready to look deeply into it. When I was invited to this program, I was told that there is a program being organized by Popular Front of India, and it's a unity march which is going to take place. So this word unity, it struck me here. Unity. You all, our friends, young boys, they led a unity march today. Very good march, very impressive march. I appreciate your discipline, your body language. At the same time, I think unity is a much deeper word. And if we understand this word unity in its depth, I think we can find a solution. And I take you to explain my point further, I take you to the life of Prophet Muhammad. Most of you, I can see, are the Muslims. I am not a Muslim. I am not even a Keralite. But I have read Quran. I have read part of Hadith, little bit. But more than these two things, what has inspired me and motivated me is another angle, another aspect of the life of Prophet Muhammad. And it's a political teaching for me, political lesson for me. When we talk of Islam, we talk of Quran. When we talk of Islam, we talk of Hadith. But for me, when I read the life history of Prophet Muhammad, one thing of his life, it impressed me a great deal. What was that? I think in the history of this world, Prophet Muhammad was the first person, first leader who was not only a spiritual master, spiritual leader, he was not just a social leader, he was a political warrior also. Political warrior. Normally, if you see great gurus and saints, like Buddha was there, Jesus was there, Guru Nanak was there, so many great leaders they have come on this earth. In their own way, they have given their teaching. But Prophet Muhammad was the first such leader who not only gave spiritual lessons to his people, but he also took a sword in his hand. He was also a general. He was also a general. And why he took this sword in his hands? To capture somebody's capital? To loot somebody's palace? No. He didn't take this sword in his hands to capture somebody's kingdom or loot money or capture somebody's palace. He took this sword in his hand to unify the people, to unify the violent and the Arab people in those times. They were always fighting with each other. Arab, before Prophet Muhammad, was a big turbulent area. Lot of fighting was taking place. But Prophet Muhammad came, he educated his people not to fight and live peacefully. Islam means peace. Islam means peace. So he gave the lesson of peace to his people, but also those who opposed his idea of peace, those who stood in the way of establishing peace in Arab, he also took a sword to counter them. For the first time, a spiritual leader, he was not just a spiritual leader, he was also a political warrior, a general also. And that is why, within no time, within 100 years, 200 years, Islam spread to half the world. So what he did, he unified people. Without unification, it was not possible to spread Islam in such a big way. So now we come back to India. In India, we have a similar kind of situation. We have our enemy, the Manuwadis, those who want to crush us, those who want to enslave us. And they are in power. Our people are suffering. They are suffering, but each one of them is fighting their own battle. Whether it's Dalit people, 500 political parties of Dalit in this country, OBCs also 100 parties, Muslims also 200 parties, and each one is fighting their own battle individually, and as a result, everybody is suffering. I take the example of Kerala state. Take the example of Kerala state. In Kerala state, the population of Muslim is how much? 25%? 25%. And if we take the 4 districts of Kerala, Malappuram, Kozhikode, Palakkad, and Kannur, 4 districts of Kerala, north, the Muslim population is close to 40%, 40. Dalits are 15 to 20%, Dalits and Dalit Christians. I talk of Muslims only. How many big parties are there, Muslim parties in Kerala? One is your party, Popular Front. Another one is SDPI. Another one is PDP. Another one is Welfare Party, Muslim League, and XYZ, 5-10 more parties. In such a small state of Kerala, we have at least 5 parties, let's say, big parties. But these 5 parties, what they are doing? Separate. Separate. All are Muslims. All are followers of Prophet. All are suffering. All are running their own political parties. All want to become MLAs and MPs. But they are not coming like this. They are not coming like this. Same is the situation with Dalits also. Same is the situation with OBCs also. And as a result, these Manuvadi parties, whether the Congress, the UDF, or the Communists, the LDF, or the BJP, they are ruling, whether in Kerala or in Delhi. And you are suffering. No result. Last 20-25 years, no result. Popular Front, any MLA till now? Bashir Saab? No. SDPI, no. PDP, no. Only Muslim League. Why? Chamchas of Congress. Kakuli. Congress Kakuli. For all the Muslim vote they give to Congress, and Congress makes one minister in the center. What minister? Hajj minister. That is the, like for Dalit people, social department is there. Pakka. For Muslims, Waqf, or Kerala Muslim, Hajj department. That's all. 40% population or 25% population Muslim, one Hajj mantri. That's all. What is this happening? So I've been thinking about this problem for the last many years, that this way we cannot. We may abuse RSS, we may abuse, criticize them, but it will not lead to any solution. If we find a solution, you will benefit. Mr. Bashir is sitting here. Why should not Mr. Bashir become MLA? You want to become MLA? Yes, you should. Say yes. You should become MP also. Why not? Out of 140 MLA, why can't Mr. Bashir become MLA? Why should not he become MP? He should become. You should try to become a ruler, not just MLA. You should also try to become minister. Not just a minister. You should also try to become chief minister. Why not? Why Muslims think that they cannot become chief minister of Kerala state? You should. This change of mindset is required. But how you will become? You can become. Not after 10 years. This election only. This election after 2 months. You can become MLA. 100% guarantee. 100%. But how? How? The last 2 years, 3 years, I'm giving you a suggestion which you may follow or you may not follow. It's up to you. In the last 2 years, I have been working on a national level alternate to these Manuvadi parties. Right now, what is happening, when we talk of Kerala, we have UDF, Congress Alliance. We have LDF, Communist Alliance. We have BJP, NDA Alliance. All 3 parties controlled by Manuvadis. You are just beggars. Dalits are beggars, nothing else. This 10% Manuvadis in Kerala state, they run 3 parties, Congress, BJP and Communist Party, and 3 alliances also. But where is your alliance? Where is your alliance? Party you have got. You have got a party, small party, big party, that is another thing. To take on 3 alliances to become MLA, because when you grow, all these 3 parties will come together to stop you from entering assembly. Remember this. Not just Communist Party. Congress, BJP and Communists, they will all come together secretly to stop Mr. Bashir from entering the assembly or parliament. So what you should do? You should form your alliance. How it will happen? I'm telling you. It is possible. And it's very easy also. In the last 2 months, I have talked to the leaders of other parties, many other organizations. I have gone to them, I have met them, and I have told them, I have requested them, I have appealed to them, for your sake, for your people's sake, you follow the same religion, same ideology, you also criticize RSS, you also criticize RSS, everybody is criticizing RSS. All are suffering. But what is stopping you from coming together? What is stopping you? If I can be of any help, I am not coming here to fight election. I will fight election in UP. Kerala, I am not going to become MLA or MP here or Chief Minister. But my feeling is, since I have been working in Kerala for the last 10 years, I have seen Kerala, I have seen its potential. Kerala has a lot of potential for Bahujan ideology and Bahujan politics. And successful politics. Muslims are very big in number. Dalits are also very big in number. Muslims are very educated also, committed also. Most of you are working in Gulf, so financially also you are strong. So all those things, if you keep together, bring together, out of 140 seats, you can contest 20 seats, 25 seats. What is the problem? Another party can 25 seats. A Dalit party can win 20 seats. You know, like this, you can distribute 140 seats. And in that case, your vote, which is going all the direction, will come to your place. When you start your alliance, when you run your alliance, the Muslim voter, which is going to Congress or LDF, because there is no alternative, there is no strong alternative. So unity, this word, the unity march is one thing, that on 17th of February every year you do a march. This is called unity march. But unity is not a one-day affair. That one day you march, parade, and remaining 364 days you forget about unity. Unity is a 365 days affair. And if you think in terms of unifying your forces, your resources, your cadres, in the coming assembly of Kerala state, after 3 months, I can assure you that you can win 20 to 30 assembly seats. 20 to 30 assembly seats you can win. Because your vote is so big. You just need to sit together, chalk out in the spirit of give and take, friendliness, brotherhood. If you can have religious brotherhood, you can also have political brotherhood. So we also have religious brotherhood, we all go to the same mosque. But when it comes to political brotherhood, we fail. We forget about brotherhood. So my appeal to you today is that take this word unity, write it down on the wall of your home, unity. This word, unity, will solve all your problems. Unity, political unity, in the spirit of give and take, in this spirit of brotherhood. And don't follow me. Follow the Prophet. It's not my message. That's why I said in the beginning, it's not my message. I'm a very small person. But Prophet, you should follow. For your own upliftment, for your own safety, for your own growth. So friends, time is very short. So many speakers are left. I am sorry I have exceeded my time. But I thought, since I've got this opportunity, I should convey something meaningful which can be useful for you as a party, as a movement, and in your growth and the growth of your community and the growth of this country. With this, I thank the organizers of this program, the Popular Front of India, for inviting me here and giving me a chance to speak to you directly. Thank you very much. Jai Bhim, Jai Bharat, Jai Kanshiram, Khuda Hafiz.
അടുത്തതായി ഈ സമ്മേളനത്തെ അഭിസംബോധന ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടി ലത്തീൻ കത്തോലിക്ക ഐക്യവേദി പ്രസിഡന്റ് അഡ്വക്കേറ്റ് ജെയിംസ് ഫെർണാണ്ടസ് അദ്ദേഹത്തെ ആദരപൂർവ്വം